Can you hear me there? I'm wired for sound. Yes, okay. I was always told never to follow any talk that regarded kittens and drones, and well, here I am. Let me give you a quick overview of what I've been doing. Actually, a number of us have been doing over at Icelandair, and oh, my resolution is screwed up here. My name is Berge. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a software developer here at the Dev Lois in TM Software. And I won't bludgeon you with my Icelandic, but we've been working on basic Google route maps, and this is, I'm going to show you the site first so you know what I'm talking about. Essentially, we have a Google map, and we're using lots of lines and markers and things of that nature to provide the user with a avenue towards the booking engine, and so that they can book a flight. And the whole idea is to get you on a plane as fast as possible. So I'm going to click on Minneapolis here, and that's half my route done already. And then I'm going to go to, any takers? I'm going to go to Thrandheimur. I've never been there. Okay, so it'll immediately pop up a info window for the booking engine. And that provides you, it's supposed to provide you with the weather there today, -4, and going down to -9. And then you have the opportunity to book the flight here. I'm not quite sure why the rest of it's not showing up properly, but this is the testing side, that's why. This is actually what it finally turned out to be in production. I'm showing you the preliminary work that I did, but a number of other people worked on it, of course, before it came to this. So this one should work. Yes, there it goes, it flies about, and then it pops up the booking engine here. So that's basically what we were working on. It's a simple application. Sorry, and I just want to show you how we managed to do this, and then I'll pass it on to the next talk. Okay, I'll just start my PowerPoint here. Any questions on the demo? I mean, have you tried it? No one's flown anywhere lately? No, okay. I myself haven't used it, but okay, let's see. Okay, so essentially, you've seen it in action. The brief was very simple, but it had a lot of elements to it. The booking engine in the info window had to load up properly, and they wanted a particular view in the map, and they wanted the lines to be a particular way, and the markers to be a particular shape and color. And there were a fair long list of minor demands, you might think, but it all adds up when you start programming it up. So that was our big hurdle. They wanted these little fly open menus, fly open pop-ups here that would tell people what the next step was in the program. So that's what we had to deal with. How we did it, I'm going to launch in the code here. It's essentially a whole bunch of variables that we set up, and we initialized the app with setting up the map. We set up the markers. We had to do it a particular way because of the way you click on one side of the map, and then half of the route shows, and then the other half you click on the other half, and then the other half of the route shows. So we have two basic variables: America, Europe, and Reykjavik in the middle, which caused us a bit of a hiccup later on because it was neither a part of America or Europe. Which actually it kind of isn't, I mean, is it? It's right down the middle. But the marker labels here, you'll see, again, we had set that up separately so that the markers, because the markers and the labels are labeled separately as well, they come in separately. and then a number of variables for the destination to and froms. So that's the initialization. It's quite simple, nothing too complicated there. The map parameters for the Google API, there's loads of them, and they're all quite helpful. But you can see that I can set the center of the map using the Latin longitudes. The info window is set up here with its particular parameters, its width and stuff. The bounds of the map, so that changed frequently as the client wanted different areas to be shown, and our map marker for Reykjavik. Then you have these list of styles that you can set the map to. I'm sure some of you know this already. Those of you who haven't used much Google Maps before, you can set the style of the map quite easily by chopping out the roads, chopping out the water, the points of interest. All that can be done quite quickly. So again, the map parameters are quite simply done. The data coming in, this is from the preliminary work, as I said. So I'm setting up a data map here and assigning it to the location for Europe. I did America, and I did the same for Europe. In production, that's coming from a JSON feed. So that just populates that variable there. But for this run, that's what we were doing. The create marker functions, I'm getting into the functions now, the meat and potatoes. Essentially, that's done with the, am I rubbing it around my ear? Yes. I was wondering what that sound was. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, I could hear myself now too. Okay. The marker style, the marker with label. I'm using the marker with marker label extension of the Google API to extend the range of what the markers can do. So that's inbuilt there. I'm popping that in there as well. The marker itself, it's set up with a little bit of else if statements. So essentially, if you're in America and if you're in Europe, the markers are laid out accordingly in their two groups. And then Reykjavik's popped in the bottom there. Creating the flight path and creating the info window is essentially just an add-on, calling that in from other function. The great get marker style, quite quickly, that sets up the marker style, of course, with all its parameters. You've probably seen this before, but it has a wide variety of things you can do here. They wanted a particular color, etc., the shape, and that kind of thing. And the classes are applied here as well. So that's really quite simple, and it's really handy to know that. Getting the flight path and the polylines to draw properly, that's in this function. You can have them straight, you can have them curved. Getting them curved was kind of funny because it continually kept going way out of the map range, so that's something we had to deal with as well. Again, separating it out, the North America and the Europe American polylines, the flight paths, and eventually getting to the coordinates themselves. Geodesics, yes. This is the meat and potatoes, really, this one, the create info window, because it's collecting all the data together and shunting it off towards the Google's info window panel. It's setting up the selected destination, you know, whether that's clicked or not, etc., and setting up all the different CSS display parameters. If you're clicked, if you're not. So that's pretty straightforward. That stuff really. It does a quick check on the marker with the listener. The rest of that function sets up the labels, and it toggles the markers on and off. And then launches the info window, essentially. You can see that there's the continent separation, whether or not they're clicking on one side or the other of the map. What else? Yeah. finally we get down to the end. We're toggling the markers here. The continent and the airport's required and the continent and visibility required each. And if Europe's selected, then we set all the visibilities and you're in the right continent, etc. All this is being basically for display purposes. The info window launches mainly from the function before this. And then we're finally getting the content and we're shoving it into this info window block here, a separate div in an iframe, and that launches the booking window as well, the booking engine, sorry, because that's connected to that particular page. This is a bugger, actually, this guy, because that info window is really difficult to work with as far as its shape and size are concerned, because it really, Google have made it quite difficult to actually fix that in a very free-flowing way. So we had to play an awful lot with size here. And finally, we get the listener for the close click function. If the window is closed, then the map will reset itself to the former parameters. So you get it back to where you started, essentially. And then finally, we start it up. The initialization happens. We're setting all the map options. Here, how big the zoom is, the centering the map, where it is, etc., bringing in all the other variables that we had set up before, and dumping it into the map canvas. Finally, we have this jQuery block here that creates the markers themselves on the position on the map. And I think that's pretty well it. We initialize it, load it up, and it just runs very nicely, actually. I mean, it was quite an easy thing to start out with and build. But if there's any questions, that's pretty well it for me.
Cool, thanks.
No drones, sorry.
I'm curious, how long did it take in all from beginning to production?
In a project like this, it tends to get kind of passed around a little bit. So I was handed this, and it took me, I think, about 2 to 3 weeks to figure out what was going on with it, because it was broken when I got it, and then I passed it on to Billy, who was here as well, and he worked on it a while and got it to production readiness. So I suppose a month in total with all the testing and everything. Yeah, something along those lines.
Hello, I got a mic for my question.
I have a mic for my answer.
Do you consider any other map frameworks like OpenLayers or?
No, as I said, when I got the project, it was already in production when I started, so I didn't have a consideration of it. But it's a good point. I mean, we could have looked at others, of course, but Google's the leader in this, so I tend to stick with them anyway.
Do you know if they checked out Leaflet or Mapbox, because they provide so much like theming and skinning of the unique interface that you can provide?
Yeah, no, I don't know if they considered that, but I probably would in the future, because I've had quite a trouble with that info window. It just won't sit. Yeah.
One question. What about the browser support? Did you have something in mind when you aimed at doing this? Because I know from my own experience that overlaying stuff on the map can be a headache for specific devices and stuff.
I think almost all of our projects are designed to be reasonably effective in most modern browsers. So we're testing in IE down to 8, and then Firefox and Chrome, and I'll look at Opera sometimes, but not often. Else? Okay. Thank you very much. Oh, sure. I have my glasses on, I couldn't see you. I can hear you, don't worry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to ask if this tool is responsive, and if so,
were there any problems you ran into while scaling it down? Because it really looks like it needs a little bit of space.
It is definitely designed for a fairly large browser window. I can't say that it's completely responsive, but for example, it's really not much good on a mobile, I would have thought. But we designed it for a web browser, so that's where it works best. It's not really designed for mobile, no. The info window itself would never really work very well on a mobile platform because it will launch. It has its own fixed size, so which is much larger than a standard, really. Thanks very much.